Hey, what's up, Knife Tube? Today, I'm gonna make you guys happy. Um, we're gonna do a little review on the Sage 5 Lightweight, and keep in mind this knife is brand spanking new, and will be given away at 1,000 followers. I wanna hook you guys up with what I consider to be one of the best production EDC knives money can buy. Um, right below the Manix as for the top spot. Anyways, Spyderco Sage 5 Lightweight FRN full liners, nested liners, CPM S30V that is extremely well heat treated. Taichung, Taiwan manufactured. An absolute banger of an EDC knife. Awesome action. Built extremely well. Absolutely no blade play. Super comfy. Even with XL hands, you can get a full grip without being on the choil. But you got that awesome 50-50 forward finger choil. And that is how that knife is made to be used. And it is ready for work. Literally is, in my opinion, one of the very absolute best EDC knives that money can buy in the production market. Beautifully centered. Just bi-directional texturing. You're not going anywhere. I mean, you have infinite traction pretty much. This is a knife that you could, as Shabazz says, for if you work in a Vaseline plant, this is the knife you need. Well, it's not going anywhere. Wet hands, bloody hand, doesn't matter. Believe it or not, these make excellent skinning knives if you're a hunter. You got that nice belly, really good for caping an animal. Just an all-around fantastic EDC knife. CPM S30V just happens to be one of my favorite stainless powdered steels. It's you hear a lot of talk nowadays about is S30V still a steel worth buying, or is S30V a super steel? S35VN, I do not believe is or ever was a super steel. It is fantastic in thin geometry custom kitchen knives. However, in EDC knives, especially production EDC knives, especially China production EDC knives, S35VN leaves a lot to be desired. Fantastic thin geometry kitchen knife steel. Running up around 63. Nice thin geometry, excellent performer. In production knives, when it's typically ran 58, 59, it's just not a very good performing steel. Especially if the knife has thicker geometry. To be a performer, it can't perform at 58, 59. I'll just be blunt. Anyways, let's get off the S35VN train. S30V, vastly superior production knife steel to S35VN. And yes, in my opinion, and with a lot of experience, both in use and on the stones with this steel, I have absolutely no problem calling it a super steel. It is indeed a super steel, and it is very much still a relevant steel. People hate on it because for a couple reasons. Either they read their buddy said that it was chippy, and now forevermore to them S30V is a chippy steel. S30V is absolutely not a chippy steel. If the heat treat is decent, for example here, absolutely not a chippy steel. Now I will say some of Benchmade's S30V, oh yeah, it can be chippy, but that's a heat treat protocol issue. That's an internal issue. That's to Benchmade. That is not S30V as a whole. S30V in the custom world is fantastic. S30V in the EDC world is fantastic, and that is exactly why Spyderco continues to use S30V as their base, their standard production knife steel. They have it very well dialed in, and it performs extremely well. Spyderco is not stupid. They know what they're doing. They know that, it doesn't matter what these hearsayers say, or one person had a bad experience with it, and now forevermore they go around telling everybody how terrible of a steel it is. Spyderco knows that this steel right here performs good. It performs very well for the intended use case, and they have their heat treat impeccably dialed in for a production heat treat. Plain and simple. It is a super steel. It is a very good EDC knife steel, and Spyderco absolutely knows what they're doing with it. You get if you enjoy a steel that does just maintains that bite, just maintains that aggressive, shredding type working edge, S30V is hard to beat. That's another reason why you'll see people hate on it from time to time. They put a 6,000 grit edge on it, and then they go and tell everybody how terrible it performed. Well, I wonder why. It ain't because of the steel, it's because of that edge. S30V does not like to be taken to a high grit whatsoever. If you polish S30V, you kill the performance of it. I think it's even more sensitive to polish than Maximet is. And Maximet is extremely sensitive to over polishing. If you run Maximet at even say a 2 to 3K, it's going to perform not very good. And even at 1,000 grit, you're harming the performance of that steel. I would say realistically, to get the best performance out of it, a max of 600, maybe 600. It's extremely sensitive to too fine of a scratch pattern, too fine of a tooth pattern. S30V, I believe, is even more sensitive to it. So do not take S30V to a polish, and you're going to have that. You're going to start out with a nice, sticky, upfront sharp. The upfront sharpness will be nice and sticky, yet still aggressive, and as that edge wears, you will end up with a nice, aggressive, bitey, toothy working edge, and it will hold that for quite a significant amount of cutting. As long as you don't bead blast it, it's quite stainless. I've never personally had an issue with toughness from it. I've never had no chipping issues, and I own a lot of S30V. I've never had edge stability issues with it, which is another fault of S35VN. I have definitely had edge stability issues with S35. Especially Chris Reed's S35. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. And that steel glasses out so easy. It just gets so slick so quickly. S30V don't do that. And anything that you're going to be using this knife right here for in your daily cutting routines, you are going to have no issue with this steel at 15 to 17 degrees per side. It's going to cut great for you for a long time in between sharpenings. It's just a good steel. It strops back pretty nicely. It doesn't like to be stropped to too fine of a micron. Like, I personally wouldn't fit, like, I'll strop it on like 9 and finish it on 6 when I'm stropping it back, but I definitely wouldn't go below 3 micron, and I typically prefer for it to be finished at 6. Just a couple passes, and it's right back to popping hair, still lots of bite, and it's going to do that many times. It's a good steel. When you see people, you go on Reddit, you see people talking smack about it, go ask them, what knife did you have experience with that performed so poorly? And almost everyone, oh, well, my buddy said, oh, it was my buddy's such and such, or I heard so and so. I've heard so and so say this. If you speak to the people who actually have it and have used it, you're going to get mostly positive feedback, especially if it's Spyderco S30V. It's just a bunch of parrots. Most of the negative stuff is just a bunch of parrots reciting what they seen said or what their buddy told them. It is what it is. S30V, great steel. This knife is going to make somebody very happy. It's also going to make somebody a very, very nice user knife. Whoever wins this, I really hope that they stick it in their pocket and use the ever-living hell out of it. I really hope that this doesn't just be, stuck up in a knife case and never get used, or be a shelf queen for somebody. This knife is made to be used, and I really hope that the person gets it. They put this knife to work. They run it through its paces, and they get every dollar's worth of performance out of this knife. That's what I really hope. I mean, if the person that wins it puts it up, don't never cut with it, that's up to them. But I really hope that it gets used, because it really is one of the best user knives that money can buy. And I cannot wait to put this in somebody's pocket. It's gonna make me very happy, and it's gonna feel good to give it away and hear somebody be happy they won. Also, I'm trying to get together a 500 sub giveaway, so it's something closer. I've reached out to a few companies trying to see if I can, if they'll donate, a knife, or even if they don't donate a knife, just some stickers or a patch or something. I'm trying to get together like a couple place, maybe 3, 4, 5 place, or 3, 4, 5 winners, with progressively, fifth place will be worth this much, 6th place will be, or third, I can't speak. 4th place will be worth this much, 3rd this much, and so on and so forth. Well, I'm reaching out to companies, seeing if anybody will help with the giveaway. I don't want to just do a single place, just one winner for 500. I want to do a multiple place giveaway. So, I can't afford on my own to do 4 or 5, spots giveaway. But hopefully some companies, will offer up a budget knife and some swag, or just some swag, or a t-shirt, or something to give me a few things that I can put together for multiple packages. I do not want to do just a one knife giveaway. Be it 500, 1,000, it doesn't matter. Just like with the 1000, I'm not only going to give away one knife. This is just the main, this is going to be first place. But I want to make sure that a couple people win. I want to try to give as much as I can. I just, I got kids, and life's expensive, and kids are even more expensive. So unfortunately I can't afford to just give 5 places, but hopefully, got my fingers crossed that I can get 1 or 2, maybe 3 to help me. I have one that said that they would get back to me on it. They said yes, but let me get back to you on it. So what does that mean? And that the company that actually said that is GAW, surprisingly. So maybe they'll shoot me a knife and some stickers or something, and that'll give me 1 place. But hopefully I can put together like 5 places. That would be ideal. That would make me very, very happy. I would love to make 5 people's night. I wish I could make everybody's night, but I can't. So anyways, hopefully I can get a couple companies to help, and if they don't, well, hopefully at least GAW will they said they would, so hopefully they'll stand by that. If not, I'll it'll be tight, but I'll make something work. One way or the other, I'm gonna do everything in my power to not only do a single knife giveaway. So I'm at like 260, 270, I don't even know, something like that. But 1,000's pretty far away, so that's why I want to do a 500 to give people, something to look forward to that's closer, because I'm not growing very fast. So, but hopefully I can get to 500 pretty quick, do that giveaway for you guys, and then hopefully once I get to 500, I can grow to 1,000 quicker, give away this and another nice knife, and some other stuff. We'll make it nice, and I can make some happy people. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to make people happy, and I'm here to hand off knowledge that I've built over many years of doing this, that I want to give to people to speed up their learning curve of sharpening, and just general knowledge on knives, and what's good and what's not. And yeah, I just want to make people happy. So alright guys, I took up enough of y'all's time. I doubt anybody's watched this whole 20 minutes or 18 minutes. If you have, I really appreciate it. And it makes me feel good that people actually do watch my videos. Yeah, but I also, I'm gonna start. I'm fixing to cut the video off. I know I'm just rambling, but I want people to know me on like a more personal level, and I'm gonna start doing like a story time, and maybe 1 or 2 videos a week, and just to give people a little bit of me, and my life. So anyhow, thank you guys. Anybody stayed here to the end, you're a real OG. Y'all have a good day, and I can't wait to do these giveaways.